Welcome back, guys. Today is actually insane. We did it. You read the title. We've all read it. We've all seen it. You've seen the thumbnail. And thumbnails usually don't matter as much, but you've seen it all, man. There's no spoiler, no hidden fees, no nothing, bro. This is straight to the point. INO beats floor 79 sub DPS. Actually sub DPS, not sub. Not nothing, bro. He is the second character with the highest damage on the team. That is straight up sub DPS. Yes, and it's done without using the Hojo stall strat. There's no cheese in this. It's pure authentic gamer. All right, and I did have a live reaction to the run, but I muted because the runs were taking forever. You know the vibes. So you do lose out on like the first 3 seconds of me celebrating, but I did unmute. After the 3 seconds, you get to hear more raw excitement. I mean, you can even hear it right now, man. This is exciting. Yes, we did it. We beat it. Floor 79. I'm happy with that. That is just an incredible accomplishment. Nobody thought INO could do it. Legit, nobody thought so, but he did. And it's a very fairly consistent strategy. So if you are stuck on floor 79 and you have Yuta, you can use this strat. But give me a moment to rebuild the team up because I was helping someone earlier. All right, so we got the team running, and okay, so this was kind of my fault. I was really worried that we had to use the Hojo strat. If you guys don't know it, you stall it out, right? So you can go to the turn infinity if you want, and I didn't believe in INO. All right, that's my bad. I didn't believe in him. But now that I know INO can win, you actually don't really need this team. This is the team that I did use in the video, of course. But you could probably run something like, weirdly enough, it is going to put INO. We are going to put him in the backup state because we need Kaito to stack up really well. And I guess you could do this too if you want. Because I think he'll come in and he'll have one turn. Yeah, you can do this. This is fine. This is fine. Let INO have more damage, right? That's what we want. And then you just run a sacrificial lamb. Like, run this. And then if you have like a taunt character like Saki, I think she has a taunt, right? Does she have a taunt? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, draw attack. You just run her, right? Like, just run something like this. Turn 1, frame 1, she dies. Or if you really want, you could run Red Yaga. Red Yaga will die turn 3. And if that's what you want, it's perfectly fine too, and he'll be buffing too when he's on the stage. But this team is probably better, more efficient. But obviously, I'm gonna just talk about the team that I use because that's the one that's in the video. But this is the team, so this is it. Momo, because the floor is debuff resistant, so you want a self buffer, and Momo's the only blue buffer. You could, in theory, run Red Yaga for an even higher amount of buffing, but that's just more RNG. And Momo's ultimate, reducing ult gauge, lets Kaito here set up, like, to refresh his curse energy, so he can more consistently set up his skill 2. You'll see in my run that my Kaito was actually living very lavishly in curse energy because of Momo giving us an extra turn before the boss ults, which just means we have a turn of resting up. And of course we have double healing in case. So during those downtimes when Kaito is using skill 1, we may take a little bit of damage, or when we're setting up, Kaito will take damage. If we only use skill 2 twice, Kaito will live, but he'll take massive damage, and we want healing all around the board. So this team only really works with Yuta. Sukuna will not work for this because Sukuna just doesn't have the DPS, like the DPS to kill the minion really fast. But yeah, so Yuta, I haven't really highly invested. I have both INO and Yuta highly invested. Kind of have to for this. Kind of just have to for this to work. Sorry to everybody that doesn't want to invest into INO. I mean, you probably shouldn't be doing this anyways. You can run anyone else. Legit, any other character instead of INO, you perform just as fine, if not better. Sorry, INO. I know Glaze. But Yuta here, and this is a recollection bit I chose to run for him. Gives 2 turns of 90% attribute buff. there's no real rhyme or reason why I chose it. You could run. I mean, it's just a nice 90%. I don't have his featured one A3, so I'm not running it because it has really low. It has lower stats. Well, I mean, it would have more, right? 70, 89, 95, and 10 curse energy, which is really nice. But I don't have it, and this one refreshes every it's 6 turns, yeah. So if you have his feature one, use that one instead. A3, perfectly fine. If you have the Curse Spirit Academy Recollection, I'll put it on screen. That one's even better. But obviously, when you don't have everything and you're like me, you have to make do with what you got. So this was it, and it's pretty simple strategy. Let me get into it. Okay, quickly, guys. Before we get into it, I'm sorry. I know. You guys are waiting for the run. I just have to go over through the SP buffs and the skills, right, of everybody. Kaito has all his healing, or most of his healing, because it's very important for him to not die. And his curse technique, because his skill 2 is based off his curse tech stat. And then I had to do this to get to floor 2, but you know, you don't really have to do it. I kind of more did it just for consistency's sake, but you don't have to. And then INO, obviously I mentioned it, 52 of 57. Really highly invested here, right? Healing's maxed out, no co-op, no physical or technique, but I have this. Both of these really important. Oh my god, it's getting annoying doing that. And then Yuta is even higher than INO is. I'm just lacking the curse. You don't really need this. I think Yuta has already enough curse energy, and then you don't need the co-op either. It's nice, but who cares, man? It's not important. You know, resources are so tight, and then GOJO is just no health, but yeah, he's slightly invested. He's not that much invested in compared to the rest. But yeah, okay. And then I just got one more announcement that'll be at the end of the video, so stick around to the end of the video and listen to the announcement. Anyways, bye-bye. So I realized in the earlier part of the video, I said the word typically, as in common, and I typically hate using that word because I hate the idea of common sense, as in everybody should know the exact same thing all the time. And if this is your first video of JJK Phantom Parade, or your first floor 79, you know, like you just came because you wanted to see INO Takuma, right? I don't want to isolate anyone that doesn't know about the game, doesn't know the strategy. So I'm gonna spend a couple turns just explaining the strategy of how to beat this floor, so you know you aren't lost. Because I hate teachings. You know, anyone tries to teach something, they say, "Oh, this is typically done. This is common knowledge." I kind of hate that, right? So I'm trying to explain this and help you guys, so you can follow along and kind of see how this becomes really intense and why it's such a difficult floor to beat specifically. So let's get into the video. And then, sorry, but after like the couple of turns, we'll just go back into the no voiceover with the backdrop music and speed it up gameplay loop. So, you know, you don't waste your time. I may upload this as a full video too. I don't know, but let's go. So the first turn here, what you want to do specifically is, if you notice here, I skilled 1 with Kaito, and this is because, like I said, he's very curse energy, but he's going to use skill 2 a lot, and he doesn't get as much curse energy as he will use. He uses 20, he gets 10 per turn, so you can see he'll slowly be depleting, so he does need 1 turn to get curse energy. And this recollection bit I have on him gives him curse energy 20, and it's going to be used per 3 turns. So this is the RNG of if Kaito gets hit by any single target attacks. He can be allowed to be hit by the AoE that's happening right here. That's perfectly fine, but he cannot be targeted from these single attacks because he'll just take too much damage, and you really want to save these healing recollections that we have on INO and Momo. So that's the only RNG. After that, the next RNG will happen in the next couple of turns, but for 1 to 5, you're relatively free of any RNG. I mean, you can just see here, really good RNG. The fact that Kaito isn't being targeted at all. That's optional. He can take those hits and still be fine, but you know, the better the RNG, the more leeway you have in playing. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Momo here is saving curse energy too. So unlike Kamo, which is what you would see in a lot of other videos, well, you'll see Kamo and Momo together, but I don't really see the purpose in Kamo. As I mentioned, this floor is debuff resistant. You can see a little icon there. But I believe that means it's debuff resistant. So Momo only needs a buff for 2 turns to get her maximum buffs, which means, and we want those maximum buffs to be as high as possible after Yuta ults. Because Yuta, before ulting, and INO, because INO has to set up his damage, because they're in their setting up phase, their damage right now does not matter. It is purely cosmetic. So we just need Momo to get as much curse energy as possible. And even here you see just better RNG, right? There's insane RNG that Kaito doesn't get targeted here. And now he'll start taking 0 damage. The entire team will start taking 0 damage. So at this point, if you had this RNG as me, or if you had it slightly worse, then you'll still be fine, right? We heal here. All right, so you see here, I also buffed because, like I said, only 2 turns, and we're about to ult. That does suck. There's a little RNG of like they target Yuta and reduce his curse energy or curse technique. Right, I'm scrolling down to show you guys. It's a 30% decrease. Pretty sure is what I saw. No, I don't remember, but it's pretty important. But now we want to keep 100% uptime with Momo as much as we can to maximize Yuta's damage. Decent damage. It's not the best, but we're gonna really see Yuta here kind of just blow it out of the water. But hey, man, this isn't about being main DPS. It's about beating the floor. Nobody thought you could do it, and we could do it. Nice, see 0 damage. The only damage Kaito will take, or anyone will take, is from physical. We just add attack, which is a little unfortunate that Yuta didn't counter. You want him to counter as much as possible, just because it's extra damage, right? But if not, it's fine. Still good RNG that's not on Kaito. Here, like I said, we're gonna keep maximizing the damage we can have with Momo buffing. Dude, INO's so cool, man. Right? Yay! 0 damage. I think this is where this is where the important part happens with Momo, and this is where you can't have passive playing in this floor. You see there, like I took a little moment to think. You're gonna see that happen quite often. It will probably be harder to see when I speed up the video, but you have to be active playing because, well, I mean, you don't have to. You run better characters than I did. You don't have to think as hard, but this is really important because I'm trying to think multiple, like 3 turns ahead of what's happening here. I'm gonna reduce the main boss and the minions ult gauge, so Kaito can get his curse energy. But how many turns will I want to do that for? And I think right now I do it for 1 turn, because the main boss here has a chance to just increase his ult gauge by 1, which means I remove 1 here, right? He's at 1. He increases it so he gets to 3, and then next turn he ults. So I can only give Kaito 1 turn of leeway, and the minion will also ult in 2 turns. And Kaito needs 4 turns, 3 to 4 turns to set up so your team takes 0 damage. 3 minimum, 4 best. So it's a little bit of thinking, but once you get into the flow of it, you won't have to worry about it too much. Yeah, you see I'm thinking right here. I'm not thinking on INO specifically, but on Kaito and the turns ahead that I'll be doing. And I commit to it. Yep. Kai. So he didn't do that move where he gives himself one extra curse, like ult gauge, but he could give it this turn. So realistically, right here, I should have done skill 2, but I was hoping that Yuta here would crit and get hit, which would give him his ult gauge right here, and he does. So that's why I skilled 1 instead of skill 2. Any chance to maximize damage is really important. Here. Wait, did he dance? He did the dance. Yeah, there you go. The dance move right here that he does. Sorry. We have to rewatch this a little bit. But this is what I was waiting for or watching out for. Right? He boosts it. He was at 2 ults. Now he's at 4. So there's a little bit of RNG if he'll do it. It's pretty frequent that he'll do it. So you might as well assume he's going to do it. But that's why the setting up is so important and maximizing your turns. So this turn we will take like a decent amount of damage, but not that much. And we try to co-op ult as much as we can because they give you damage buff and it actually heals Yuta. Yuta's co-op heals, INO's co-op gives curse energy, which is always really nice. That extra 17 curse energy, I believe. For Yuta, who's very curse energy, 14. That he's pretty, yeah, see, maximum, like pretty high damage. I think it was only 2 stacks, not 3, but you kind of have to. You just have to risk it for Kaito, because look how low he is on curse energy right now, 25, and that was us giving him 1 turn to rest. So you know, it's a little unfortunate. Should take 0 damage now. Yep. And here we want to kill this minion as much as we can, if possible. Ishikai. Ishikai. Kaikokari. So here I decide to use skill 2 on Yuta because of the buffs they provide him. I don't know if it's technically the better option. It's the option I went for. And so, you know, I could be wrong, but just from my testing of Yuta, I just found it just did more damage consistently. So you might as well do it, in my opinion, of course. Here I don't get the co-op ult with INO, but I need damage. I need damage really badly here. And Momo also benefits from the curse energy too. So it's not like it's going to nobody, like somebody doesn't need it. Like Kamo doesn't really need it that much at all because he's kind of self-sufficient. But Momo does need it. So it's not bad. Like both of these characters need it. It's just better to do it with Yuta because of the damage buff that co-op ults give you. So it just maximizes his damage more. But it's not bad at all. We also sneaked in, if you saw, we sneaked in one skill 1 right there. We sneaked it in. Yeah, just a little, just any chance to get more curse energy is really important for us. Here we're afraid of his ult that's coming up, so might as well. No point stopping. Insane damage. Cracked damage by our boy INO. So here, once again, like we save more curse energy as much as possible. Momo here requires 2 turns, and nobody's ulting anytime soon. So it's okay to let the buffs run out. We'll just set them back up, and we want to keep it for longevity. Here, I know Ino's gonna ult soon, and the boss is nowhere near ulting. Worst case scenario, he gets to ult gauge 3, and then maybe 4. You know, he'll get to 3, and then I'll have to set up again. But it's not like he's gonna ult, right? Like next turn. So we can take these hits, and we have our healing recollections coming up on cooldown. Yep. So now here, like I said, I'm afraid of him, the boss, boosting his ult gauge, because either he ults next turn or 2 turns, and I will not know. So I don't want to risk it. And I think the co-op here will break for sure. Nice, insane, just incredible damage. You let Kaito rest up more now. Is she good? And then I believe I ult here because there's no other reason not to. But we like Kaito. Actually, we don't want Kaito to rest up. He's now at the point of having so much curse energy because we were able to let him rest up and whatnot. Very like in between rounds. 45 plus 20 of the recollection is 60. And that sets him up for 4 turns, I believe. And that's more than enough for him to get the recollection back, which will set him up for another 6 turns. Well, set him up to 6 turns, so 4 to 6. So you can see here, I'm just not gonna. Well, he is broken, so I could choose not to, but I'm afraid of damage, I think. Nope, I'm not. Okay, never mind. So this is where the thinking comes in, right? This is where I'm telling you guys, the thinking comes in. I don't know if I want to risk it because he's broken right now for it was essentially 1 turn. So next turn he's gonna wake up. And I believe when he wakes up, he will either go into his ult by boosting his ult gauge, or he will just do an AoE attack, and we can tank it. We can tank the AoE attack pretty consistently well. So I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about his ult though, and I'm debating with myself, of the 6 turns that I mentioned, is that worth the risk? Because if so I chose to take the risk. So that 6th turn has now become 8 turns. So I'm like turn 21, okay, I can last to 8 turns, which means it'll be turn 29. That would remove all RNG possible in this run. So let's do it. Okay. Now, there's no reason for the recollection bit to be used on the 2nd attack. Yeah, so. Oh, I forgot I Momo ulted. Never mind, there was really no RNG then. Sorry. But I mean, it's still important to think about, to know what the player's thinking in that moment. That was what I was worried about. My AoE, and then what? Yep, perfect. That's the best RNG we can get. We tanked it really well because it doesn't do that much damage. And then we probably will ult this turn, assuming Yuta crits. Dora! He didn't crit. Alright. And then the buff, which is perfectly fine. We have 3 set up now. I should not be healing here. That was a bad call. So that's on me. It's I believe that that Yuta was below 6 HP, but it doesn't even matter. That was a little bit of a misplay, but luckily it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Oh, actually, it's been 4 turns, so he took 0 damage. Yeah, there was no point to heal them. Whatever, you never know. Yeah. But you kind of understand the rotations now, right? Like now that I've explained every turn. Hopefully it was very helpful. Probably just gonna leave his entire voiceover in. I was only supposed to do like the first 10 turns, but for floor 79, I could do both. Full voiceover, full time lapse. And you just pick, just timestamp whichever one you want to watch, bro. It's okay. Yeah, like I said, see how much we set up. Now, like, look, Kaito is just perfectly fine to spam skill 2. He has no reason to not to anymore. It's just that valuable. So, okay, this is actually very important. So the reason I didn't ult here, which you may be thinking, why not just ult? I'm worried about turn 30 that's coming up. It's coming up real soon. And the reason I skilled one here instead of ulting is because Kaito, he's running out of curse energy, right? I only set him up for 8 turns. We're reaching that 8 turn. He's probably enough for 10 turns. I lied, I guess. But you could ult. It's just I'd rather the boss uses his ult now than use it on turn 31 or something, right? I want him to use it now, so when turn 31 comes around, there's a chance he does single target and ult boost, which is, you know, 1 attack and then a non-attack and then obviously his ult. But that gives us an extra turn of leeway, right? If he only does 1 single target attack, that means only 1 person dies, which hopefully is Kaito. Kaito is the best target, and then INO, and then Momo, and then Yuta. Yuta is the last person you want to be targeted, so hopefully he dies. You know, like hopefully Kaito just dies, plop, he just disappears, in theory. But yeah, we don't reach that far, luckily. And I ult now because, like I said, I want to maximize how many turns this boss is in that isn't in his ult, which is guaranteed AoE. We will die to an AoE on turn 30. So if he so I'm not gonna reiterate it, but yes, we want him to do a single target and then boost his ult gauge. It's really important for us. Also, I want 2 turns of Momo buffing, right? 20, and then next turn be 30. She'll go down to 10, and then she'll go back to 20 for these last 2 turns. Yuta's just not critting, man. Holy. But it's fine. So now, you can see I have fear on my side. I thought this run was over, so I just wanted to show the team off. And I was in a Discord call with a bunch of other people. A bunch is kind of crazy to say. I guess like 35 people. And we were all really excited about this run. I don't know why I paused for this long though. I was just replying to something. I probably heal here, right? I mean, healing doesn't even matter. You'll die. Anyways, like it doesn't matter. SHIESTY-KING. So I need him to break now. At this point, I need breakage. He needs to break it now. So, okay. So the reason I'm thinking real hard about this, is so INO, he only gets his self buff is only on skill 1 for 2 turns, and I have 2 choices here. Either I pray Yuta breaks here, and we have 2 to 3 extra turns if he breaks here, right? Or this boss, like I said, does a single target, kills Kaito, and then ults. Like, gets his ult gauge, which is a waste of time for him, which is good for us. He kills Kaito, we have an extra turn, and then we can break next turn, guaranteed. But what I'm thinking here is either I ult here and guarantee break, and I get that 3 turns. Or 2 turns, I guess, because he's only broken for 2. No, 3 turns. Get 3 turns, but I lose damage. And if you notice, the boss has a lot of health. That looks small, but I guarantee you that's like, I don't know, like 5 mil worth right there, just in that one little sliver. Maybe I could be over exaggerating it. I don't know actually. So if I ult this turn and I break him, I didn't get the skill 1 buffs, right? The double skill 1 buffs, but I have Momo's max buffs, which is probably, it's kind of like, which one do I value more? Realistically, you should value the Momo one. I don't know what I chose here. Personally here, I want to co-op ult. Co-op ult with the increased damage that gives you co-op, which is like 100-something%, which is higher than Momo's, right? So I'm gonna trust Yuta to crit, break, and then and then next turn we co-op ult, and then we just try to finish it off. So yeah, if I ulted here and I broke, then we lose damage. We lose like actual health damage wise, and I don't even know if INO could break, if I'm being totally honest. Not that INO's a fraud or anything, but I just don't know if he will break. And I need Yuta to break here, so I can't skill 2. Yeah, Yuta was probably not gonna break. But we break here, right? Break here, we have maximum buffs besides Momo, but like I said, I mentioned we sacrificed the Momo buff for the co-op ult, which is more damage anyways. In theory, you would want both of them, but we needed Momo to, you know, we needed her to buff earlier for the break. So now we have 2 turns of leeway. 2 turns here. And we have Momo's ult coming up, which means, yeah, he could also do another single target. He could do another chance for single target plus ult gauge refill. Nice. We need every crit we can get. This is the chance we could win right here. Very high chance we win here. So we need max damage from Momo. We need Momo to do damage. And okay, so what's really funny is I don't know if this order mattered, but like I said, the buff into like we buff skill 2 because skill 2 does more damage than skill 1. So we want to buff skill 2 more than skill 1. But I don't think it mattered too much. And then Yuta here is a goat. He doesn't even crit. He doesn't need to. He wins it. Insane run. 15-16 minutes long. But oh dude, I was screaming. Okay, I was screaming in this moment. So hype. Like I said, I was muted. I'm gonna unmute myself real quick and you guys get to enjoy me. I recorded the whole thing, bro. This is a YouTube video right here. This is it. Yes. Yes, dude. Yes, dude. Nobody believed INO could do it, but he did it with Yuta. He did it. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Let me help you with floor 66. I just have to get the adrenaline out. I've been at this for a while, bro. Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter who helps him. All right, which is always my intro. Apparently, I love saying all right. But all right, guys. So the big announcement I'm having is that I am quitting the game. This game just isn't that fun to me. Tower doesn't seem that interesting anymore. You know, the way it's. I said this before, and I'll say it again. Tower is not a skill check. It is a box check. If you have the certain characters that you need, you can win it pretty much every time. It's not the player that's smart or doing some obscure tactic. There really is no freedom in this game at all for the most part. And I've kind of maximized my willingness to force my play style of INO onto the game. Like, is just so obviously not designed for this game in mind, I'm pretty sure. Like he gets nerfed by himself for some reason. He doesn't give himself multiple turn of buffs. He doesn't do any good nuking damage. Like, he really just isn't, because everything in this game is built around nuking. Besides Yuta, I guess Blue Yuta, he's just really strong though. Like, he is what I kind of wish INO was personally, right? Like, consistent damage over time. After he ults, he buffs himself, something, right? But obviously, INO didn't get that treatment, which is probably the only reason there's no videos on him besides mine. I mean, I'm sure there's one other YouTube, I can't find his name, but he does include INO, just not as a main DPS. And I just want to quickly go through the account real quick with everybody. I plan to continue playing somewhat. I plan to kind of distance myself from the game slowly instead of deleting the game overnight and moving on. I'll also be doing the same thing with Discord servers, Reddits, and all that. I will not be participating in any of their stuff for the most part, or interacting with the community if I can. I mean, I will, obviously, for a bit, and I'll slowly pull away and kind of separate myself from JJK as a whole. Nothing wrong with JJK, I just don't want to play this gacha game, and it's so ingrained into me that if I love JJK, I'll want to play a game, and this is the only official game that's even half decent. The Curse Clash one is really bad, and I don't want to pay like $50 to wait for someone to join and fight me. It's really nothing. I don't really have anything too special on this account. Not really enough of anything. Like, I know some people just have a surplus of everything, but this is kind of more just like just a normal account, I would say. Pretty average overall if you played long enough. But yeah, I'm just not really happy with how the game is being set up, the difficulty challenges in it, the community too. Like I mentioned, I don't really understand why people are so quick to defend themselves or to try to one-up somebody else in this game. Like, it really feels pretty hard to say you like something, and if it's not meta or it's not the norm, people will automatically just assume you're wrong and just not change their opinion on it. Like, it's weird because I see INO performing at the rate I use him, yet nobody will say he's good at all. They won't even say he's like middle tier. They will say he's bad for the most part, which, granted, for the most part, the people that are saying he's bad are not very high skilled players, I would assume, based off of why they would say that without having any experience on INO. But, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. It's just really annoying to go in the Discord server and be such a huge INO fan, and then just to hear every day, INO sucks, bum INO, bum no, whatever. I'm just like, it's whatever, man. I asked them what's their favorite character, and they just used Domain Gojo, Sukuna, Yuta. I'm like, whatever, man. Just no uniqueness in this game. And then the people that I do like to talk to and hang out, I don't really interact with them too much outside the game. So it just really is nothing in the community. The only thing I enjoy in the community is helping people, which is why I'm not just leaving empty-handed. I'm not just gonna leave everybody in the dust. I'm gonna leave some INO player out there with a guide, or everybody with a guide. But specifically for an INO player, this guide I made, it should be a one-stop shop for the most part. I'll put it on screen here, and it should literally just be a one-stop shop. It should have all the information you could ever want for INO, how to set him up, what's important about INO, his play style, the memories I personally use on him that I think are the best, some even budget friendly one. Like it's literally everything you could think of. The teams, the options for teams, the memories, the skill level, like priority. Like it is pretty much everything you could ever want in a guide, I think, besides the materials needed for Eno. But like most players don't care about the materials, man. You'll see the materials when you get Eno and like you level him up. You'll see it. Like it's nobody's pre-farming for Eno in this game is what I'm thinking, right? Like in general, I don't think people pre-farm materials that often in this game. I know it's common like Dokkan, but for this game, I think you kind of don't bother doing that just because resources are so scarce anyways. Like you'd rather just get the character than know for sure what you need. But it should be the one-stop shop, legit, everything in it. The teams part is probably my least confident area, mainly because it's all theoretical for the most part. I don't have Geto SP buff on global. Obviously, I don't have him option to me. I just look at his kit, look at JP, and kind of envision what he would do. Same thing with Miguel. Don't have SP buff on global. I don't have Blue Inumaki, but Blue Inumaki's once again just kind of like I see what he can do. I see him on multiple teams. I see him on multiple floors. I can kind of gauge his usefulness from that. So those are kind of theoretical, but I still think if you're playing Eno, you will value heavily from that guide. And that will be my last contribution, besides this video, to the Eno fan club that all 2 of us, maybe even 3 of us, would have. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, 4 months ago, I don't know when I started the Eno journey, I wish there was a guide out there as nice as mine is. Even if mine's wrong, just having a guide out that's somewhat passionate or somewhat more in depth on Eno, it's supposed to be so greatly appreciated, because there's only one guide out there, and I'm sorry for the creator of it, but there's only one guide, and their guide is so bland and not incorrect, but just so bland and uninteresting. It doesn't really talk about how to play Eno, what to do with Eno, and then the teams they used was like, it's okay, but it wouldn't, like, it leads you down the wrong road. Like, I heavily believe to never use domain Gojo with Eno for the most part. Never is a hard word, but it just leads, like, you would think domain Gojo would be so good because he's such a good debuffer, but every floor I beat in this tower was without domain Gojo, because you just don't need him. Eno does not benefit from domain Gojo at all for the most part. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that. I'll probably, if I record any videos, probably single player games. Maybe Dispatch, maybe Cup Night, Hollow Knight, Silk Song. I don't know. It would just be like single player games. I don't really feel like playing gacha games because they're so expensive. Alright guys, peace out.